it's very technical, but this project never felt like that. It was very fluid, especially season 1, the way Jean-Marc Vallée directs with his cinematographer. They both are carrying the camera, and you might think they're filming here, but he could turn around any minute and film you here, and so it kind of felt like a play in a way, especially all the scenes at the schools and with the kids, where you had 300 people on set. It's very easy to sort of take a break and be like, oh, they're covering Nicole right now, and then they turn around and they cover you. And it was beautiful and fun and spontaneous, and felt like we were theatrically acting, I guess, acting in a theater versus acting on a TV show, which is much more mechanical. And all the kids were like that, and I think that's why, you know, you feel the show in a different way, because the kids are so well cast and so brilliant at just being honest and available and present. And I think Jean-Marc Vallée does a beautiful job at using them. I think it's easy in a lot of films to put the camera on a kid for a long time, because it pulls our heartstrings, and we're all like, oh my gosh, it's a kid. And I think he does a really good balance of recognizing the emotions in the kids, but not oversaturating us with it, so that it really leaves us feeling incredibly impacted. And
can you talk about working with the director, Jean-Marc Vallée, and maybe, you know, in comparison to someone like the people on the Divergent series, and you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jean-Marc Vallée, I've always wanted to work with him, because I found him to be, his movies to just, well, I love music, and I think he's so good with the way that he uses music in his projects, but they were so emotive and emotional, but not slow. Like, he kept everything moving in all of his past movies, but still gave time for the audience and the characters to breathe and relate and understand each other, and that's how he was on this show. He's also not afraid to get, like, frustrated with you, which I think there's sort of this thing right now, and I experienced this on a lot of projects, not just the Divergent series, but where directors kind of, like, maybe get frustrated or like, don't like what you're doing, but they don't want to offend you, so they don't tell you, instead of just being like, what are you doing? That doesn't work. And then kind of come up and talk to you about how to make it better. And Jean-Marc, I mean, he's French-Canadian, and I think because there was a language barrier, sometimes maybe people thought he came out like incredibly impassioned, but I really respected that as an actor, because you always want to feel like you're giving your director what they want, and if you're not receiving feedback, then you don't really know if you're giving them what they want. And he was completely unafraid to direct us, and yet also trust us. One other thing I really loved about him, he added the grit in this show. Like the grit in the show wasn't necessarily in the scripts, and I don't think it was even in the book. It was really Jean-Marc. Like God, what did you guys see in episode 1 and 2? There's like, my character has a gun, and he put that in the show. He put the music, the mood, the tone, the set decoration, everything was very calculated by him to add sort of a, you know, the thrilling aspect of the show, and to get to the final episode to see who did it, and who was the one, you know, who got killed, who was the one who did the killing, who was the one who choked the kid, who was the one who didn't choke the kid. Like, all of that stuff was, the base of it was in the script, and David Kelly is brilliant, and it was all in the script, but Jean-Marc just added sort of this darkness that I don't think we would have had without him, but it wasn't too heavy. It was never heavy-handed, and he really sat there and gave you the time to get to a place emotionally, and he was patient and also very impatient, and I think that added to the stress of some scenes, which was great. Yeah, I would work with him again in a heartbeat. I think he's brilliant. I often find that people who are from a different culture than my own, being American, and there's plenty of brilliant American filmmakers, but there's something to be said about people who are not from America, who are directors and filmmakers. There's an essence that I think is hard to capture as an American, and I think he does a really brilliant job at sort of marrying like a European filmmaking essence with an American filmmaking essence. He kind of finds the marriage between the two, if that makes any sense at all. That's from my personal limited experience watching European and American films, but I think he's just He's brilliant. I don't know if you guys saw his movie Demolition, but I thought that that was a fantastic movie that very few people saw, and I think he just deserves a lot of credit. He's incredible.